Navratilova reveals her Democratic governor of West Virginia. Martina Navratilova reveals her next opponent. It is by far and away her toughest yet. Right after the break. Martina Navratilova, if I have to tell you who she is, you're on another planet. The winner of 59 Grand Slam tennis titles. She is AARP's Health and Fitness Ambassador. She looks terrific. And on a personal note, Martina and I both received honorary degrees on the same day about 15 years ago from George Washington University, a day we'll both long remember. Okay, let's get right to it. You're facing a big health challenge, breast cancer. How did you get the diagnosis?
Well, I had a mammogram in January, and they said I need to come back for a closer look. I went to the Australian Open for Tennis Channel, so it waited about a month. In February, I went back, and they magnified it. They said, well, there's a cluster, we'll probably do a biopsy, just to be sure. So I went to Denver. This was done in Aspen, so I went to Denver to get the biopsy on a Tuesday, and they said, it looks pretty good, should be nothing. Wednesday, my doctor, Mindy, who is a very good friend of mine, calls me and says, are you sitting down? And I'm like, why? She said, well, it came back positive. I'm like, positive? Wait, that's not good. Normally positive is a good thing, but not in this case. So I was pretty shocked, and that's, I said, okay, what does this mean? And she said, well, we don't know yet. Maybe lumpectomy, maybe mastectomy, radiation probably, chemotherapy maybe. So I had to sit down, and I was needless to say, pretty shocked, because I was so sure that it was going to be nothing. Even when they were doing the biopsy, I was still joking around with them. You know, they put a marker.
Why were you so sure?
Well, because I'm so healthy and I'm so young, you know. I mean, okay, I'm an AARP member, but I still feel in my head sometimes I feel about, I don't know, 12. Feel like most of the time I feel like I'm in my 30s or perhaps in my 40s. So I just thought it was too soon for this. I mean, you know, I have no breast cancer history in my family. My grandmothers died from cancer, but they were 86, 87 years old. So I just thought this was a bit too soon for that. So I was pretty shocked.
Martina, did you get regular mammograms?
I have been getting regular mammograms, and then I didn't. 2006, I think, was my last one, or in the end of 2005. Then I was still playing on the tour, playing my last year, so I thought I'll get it later. Then after I finished my career, I had knee surgery. I'm like, I'll do it later. Then I moved back to Colorado. I'm like, oh, I'll get it done. And it just kept, you know, it just kept missing, and I didn't take it seriously. And I'm like, finally in January, I said, you know what? Another year is going to go by. And I had not realized it had been 4 years. I thought maybe it was 2 years since my last mammogram. And I thought it's time to get my yearly checkup. So I finally went, and there it is. So I was lucky that this calcification happened at the tail end of those 4 years rather than the beginning of it.
Are you scared?
No. I mean, you know, as far as cancers go, this is the good one. It's like an oxymoron.
What do you mean?
Good cancer. Well, because actually now, after the lumpectomy, the cancer is out of my breast, so I don't have it in my body anymore. Then I'm doing radiation, which will sort of hopefully get rid of any of the cells and help keep it from coming back. So I'm gonna, maybe after that, I have maybe 10% chance of it coming back. So the odds are very good for me. But you know, scared. I was scared when I first got the news, but immediately I got into the solutions. I thought, what do we have to do to get out of this? And it's a bit of a shock to the system. Again, I didn't expect it because I'm so healthy. I eat well, I exercise, of course, and I just didn't think that it was anything. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel, and you couldn't feel it in a breast exam because they were so small. But now the digital mammography is so good that they can find a pinhead, you know, in there, and they did. So and initially when I got the diagnosis, I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep it quiet. I'm not going to tell the world about it because I've really been keeping my private life much more private the last 10 years or so. And then when I found out why I found what I have, and I was so lucky that we found it early because of the mammogram, I thought, you know what, I really owe this to the women out there that are putting it off. To speak out and say, you know what, get that mammogram every year because you never know when it's going to save your life. And so that's why I went public with it, and that's why I'm here to encourage women to get that yearly checkup. Because as AARP's health and fitness ambassador, I've been advocating good eating and exercise and all that stuff. Even wrote a book about it, which came out 4 years ago, and I couldn't get on your show then to talk about it. So what do I have to do to get on your show? Get breast cancer. Thanks a lot, Larry.
I needed to hear that, Martina. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyway, so
let me
that's
get a
why
break
I went
and
public.
come right back.
Yeah. All right.
Martina Navratilova, yeah, one of the best. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
At Sharp, our goal is to reproduce every color in the world on TV. Introducing Quadtron Quad Pixel technology. It adds a fourth color, yellow, to the standard RGB color system, creating a vast array of colors you can't see with your TV's 3-color technology. But you can see this. Whoa! Oh my!
Quadtron from Sharp. You have to see it to see it.
I've been growing algae for 35 years. Most people try.
Tiger Woods' comeback? Can he rebuild his broken image? Larry King tomorrow night, 9 Eastern.
We're back with Martina Navratilova, her purpose urging every woman to get a regular mammogram. She will be doing a web chat about breast cancer tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern. That's 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And you can register into that web chat at aarp.org/MartinaChat, one word. aarp.org/MartinaChat. That's one word. And by the way, in a little while, we'll have Dr. Mehmet Oz come on with Martina to discuss breast cancer and her particular case. By the way, what was having that lumpectomy? What was that like?
It was a piece of cake, really. The biopsy was actually more uncomfortable because you're laying on this table upside down with your breast sticking out, and then they numb it, and it's that was uncomfortable just being on that table. But the lumpectomy is much easier because you're a normal patient, and they kind of put you to sleep in this little twilight zone, and you wake up and it's over, and you don't know that it actually happened already. And there was no pain whatsoever afterwards when the breast came to life. I also had a lymph node taken out to make sure that the cancer hadn't spread, and it hadn't. It's still just in that one boob. But
a couple of other things before Dr. Oz joins us. What do you make of the whole Tiger Woods story? One great athlete about another.
Well, I think that it's great that he's playing again, and I think he will find the golf course his oasis. Because that's what he does best. And I found for myself, whenever things were not going quite right for me, I felt that the tennis court was my safe haven, and I think he will do just fine. He'll be happy to be back doing what he does best.
I remember when you came out, and now we have the controversy over Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Ricky Martin, the great singer, has just come out. As you encourage women to get their mammograms, do you encourage gay people to come out of the closet?
That's a personal choice, and it's difficult. I mean, it's easier, I think, for private people to do that than for famous people to do that, because then you're coming out to the whole world. But it's a very personal choice, and when people are ready, they do come out. And when they do come out, I have not heard of one case that somebody wants to go back into the closet. They made a mistake. So I would encourage people to come out just because they will feel so much better about being free, but true to themselves, and don't have to pretend anymore. So yes, I do encourage people, but it has to be an individual choice.
Was it hard for you to come out?
No. I couldn't come out until I became a citizen, because it was actually a disqualifier at the time. That if I
really?
I may not have gotten my U.S. citizenship if I had spoken out publicly before. So I waited until I got that passport. But I don't think it's the case anymore. But it was that case 30 years ago. Yeah.
Don't forget, Martina's doing a web chat. It's about breast cancer. It's tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. You can register aarp.org/MartinaChat. That's one word. The famed Dr. Mehmet Oz will join us in a moment to discuss the Navratilova case. Don't go away.
Get 2 free suits or sport coats at Joseph A.
Martina Navratilova remains with us for this segment. The tennis legend, the winner of 59 Grand Slams, and AARP's health and fitness ambassador. And we're joined by Dr. Mehmet Oz, host of Dr. Oz, terrific television show and New York Times best-selling co-author of the You series of health books. All right, Dr. Oz, what are your thoughts on Martina's situation?
Well, Martina has a tumor that is very common. It's about 1 in 4 of all the breast cancers diagnosed in this country, but it's not a cancer we knew much about until we started doing a lot more digital mammography where we could find it. It's a very early tumor. And I point that out because it's one of those cases where the mammography was life-changing. By getting her mammography, she was able to make the diagnosis. The real dilemma that a lot of our viewers are concerned about is at what age do you start? So Martina's 53, if I could share that. No. And so once you get past the age of 50 and you go through menopause, mammography becomes a much, much better test. It's still the best test we have younger than the age of 50, but for a lot of women who are in that crucial decade between 40 and 50, the dilemma is, do I tolerate a mediocre or an average test? It's not perfect. It's not like a pap smear where you get a real diagnosis. But it's the best I have, or do I wait it out till at age 50 the test becomes much more effective because my breasts become more thin?
What do we mean, doctor, by ductal carcinoma?
So imagine that you've got a series of tunnels going from the nipple into the breast. That's where the milk collects and is secreted from. Inside of those tunnels, you've got these very delicate cells that, in some women, begin to turn carcinogenic. They become aberrant cells, sociopathic cells. They begin to fight and argue with the cells around them. At the very earliest stages, sometimes those cells will develop a little bit of calcium in them, as they did in Martina's case, clues to us that something is going on. The real dilemma, Larry, is we don't know if all these are going to become aggressive cancers. Some we know do. So it puts the patient and the doctor taking care of them in an awkward position, because now we've got to guess if this is a life-threatening cancer. The standard today in America is to do exactly what Martina's having done, which is to take an ice cream scooper and scoop out part of the breast and then irradiate around that area to make sure you got it all. But I got to say, my vision for the future, and I think a lot of my colleagues in the breast surgery field believe this to be the case as well, is that we will be able to take little scopes, go in through the nipple, actually see these early tumors before they become invasive, kill them by freezing them or lasering them. And I think over the next few years, we'll see more of these innovative approaches to make the art of breast surgery a bit more new tech.
Sounds good to me in case it comes back. Yeah.
Martina, is there anything you would want to ask Dr. Oz?
Well, I think I know the numbers pretty well, but you explained to me something a little more. And again, with time, hopefully these cures will be even less invasive than they are now. And again, for me, the lumpectomy was pretty easy. Yeah. But I guess now my unknown is the radiation. I'm having a 6-week course of radiation. Yeah. What am I to expect in that?
Well, the radiation generally is a low impact because they're going to aim it right at the tissue around the tumor that was taken out. And again, the reason we do the radiation, Martina and Larry, is because we recognize that in order to get all the tissue with a good margin around this very early tumor, you would disfigure the breast. So in order to preserve the contour of the breast and maintain a cosmetically acceptable appearance, we opt to make a smaller excision of tissue and then radiate around it to ensure we have no cells that have escaped into the tissue around the area that we attacked.
You'd be happy to know, Mark.
Yeah. Actually, I'm told that I'm going to be having the whole breast irradiated because it is ductal. It travels around too much, so they're getting the whole.
But in the old days, the radiation would go into the heart area, and as a heart surgeon, I'd see that because it would tragically devastate the heart tissue, the valves, and the like. We can avoid that now. It allows you to be back to full speed quickly.
Martina, you'll be happy to know that we tweeted on King's Things that you were going to be on the show talking about this diagnosis. We've got tons of tweets back wishing you the best.
Thank you.
We have a Facebook question for you.
Okay.
You said your diagnosis was your 9/11. Does you think about life in a different way now?
Well, you just sort of take pause and sort of reboot. You know, are you doing the things that you want to be doing? If I had a year to live, I probably would change things, but I don't. I have hopefully a lot longer, but still, it gives you pause to make sure that you're doing what you want to be doing, and I am. I love working for Tennis Channel. I'm doing all the 4 Slams commentary. I love working with AARP and empowering people there. I still have plenty of time for my friends and family and travel and see the world. So I have a great life, and hopefully I'll be here for a long time to annoy you all.
By the way, you have any thoughts who's going to win in France?
Boy, that's still 2 months away. Well, if Nadal is healthy, he's still my pick, of course, on the men's side. On the women's side, I hope to see a Serena Williams and Justine Henin in the finals, and then I'm just going to, have a lot of popcorn and enjoy that match.
Are these players today as good as you, better than you, or could you have taken them on, or do they improve as other athletes do better in other sports?
Well, of course they improve because they're bigger, they're stronger, they're hitting the ball harder, and the equipment makes it a lot easier to do that. But people ask me quite often, do you think you could beat Serena Williams? Because I don't think so. I said, well, do you think I could beat Justine Henin? They said, of course, yes, because she's smaller than I am. And I'm like, well, Justine Henin beat Serena Williams, so there's your answer. Now, I think we'd have great matches, and I think I would hold my own okay. Yeah, but it would be fun. I would have loved to have played him.
By the way, don't forget Martina's doing a web chat about breast cancer tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. You can register at aarp.org/MartinaChat. Thanks, Martina. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Larry.
Good luck, dear.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Larry. Same to you.
My
Thanks.
pleasure. Your body's secret signs could save your life. Do you know what they're telling you? Dr. Oz is going to clue us in next.
Starting at 9 a.m. Eastern.
We're back with Dr. Mehmet Oz, the New York Times best-selling co-author, host of his own TV show. That show tomorrow is going to talk about secret signs. I'll ask about that in a minute.